Finance Minister with me now. Samuel Wilson, you seem to be losing patience with the anti-cuts people, if we may term them so. You say they're grandstanding and playing politics with people's lives, but surely you don't want or expect people just to roll over and take whatever our Treasury masters deliver.
They're going further than that, of course. They're conning people that there's no hard choices to be made. The fact of the matter is, Noel, a lot of the public spending that we will have available to us is determined purely on a mechanistic formula basis. We know that that formula is going to mean that we have less money available to us. There may be ways of making some, or getting some additional finance, some additional flexibility, but we're not going to escape. I mean, I've just this morning, I've spoken to Treasury ministers. Yesterday I spoke to Treasury ministers, and I can tell you, there is no, and I mean, with Scotland and Wales, we're getting the same message. There is no special considerations going to be given for areas like Scotland, Wales or Northern Ireland.
But quangos and other sacred cows must be first in the firing line.
Well, I mean, I've always made this clear. That, and in fact, when I give instructions to ministers coming up with saving plans, I said, first of all, I want you to look at the bureaucracy within your departments. Secondly, I want you to look at some of the things which you're doing which you might have been doing for years, but you don't any longer need to do. Thirdly, I want you to look at the things that you still need to do, but might be capable of being done in a different and more cost-effective way. Those are the kinds of things I want to see touched first.
And if we have to save $2 billion over 4 years, out of 40 billion, because we get 10 billion a year for 4 years, that's about 5%. Is there unnecessary hysteria going about
Well,
here?
I think that first of all, it is, in my view, it is manageable. But it is only manageable if we take some tough decisions and if we look very, very closely at budgets and are prepared to undertake some radical changes. I mean, I'm just convinced that over the last 8 years, the executive has had an increase in spending of around 6 or 7% every year. I'm not sure that all of that money has been well spent, and therefore I think that we need to look at that.
You've also said there are calls for unity. Sinn Féin are launching a strategy tomorrow. There is a better way. They're coming up with a way of saving $1 billion and generating almost another $1 billion. Is that the way forward, or should they not be going out on their own?
Well, I mean, I look forward to hearing what their ideas are. The one thing which strikes me as odd is that all over the summer I have been speaking to Sinn Féin ministers and other ministers. If these ideas were available, it would have been very, very handy for me to have.
They may have persuaded your party leader and the
strategy.
First Minister. He's talked about the cuts being too deep and too fast.
Well, that's not a new position for us. I mean, first of all, when the budget was first announced in the House of Commons, I was one of the speakers at that stage, and I made it quite clear that we believe that there should be maybe a consideration given to how quickly these cuts came and when they came. But what I'll not do, and what we can't afford to do, is bury our heads in the sand and say that they're not coming at some stage.
Samuel Wilson, thank you very much indeed.